Welcome back, everybody. It's Red the Mechanic. So I've got a customer's car here today. It's a '99 Honda Civic. Here it is. It's a four door. That doesn't matter though. He the driver's side front corner hit a he hit something on the road, or I don't know if it was a curb or none. The story's kind of incomplete, but the rotor exploded. I don't know if something got lodged in there, but the rotor exploded, and basically it like I said, it needs a rotor. The spindle got bent. The calipers pushed this way. Like it's crazy. It's not super bent, but it's pretty tweaked. So we've got the replacement spindle. The customer is going to go get the brake parts right now, and I'm basically just going to be swapping out the spindle. The piston of the caliper came out, so we're going to be putting that back in and just inspecting everything else. I already felt the tie rods kind of got play, but I wonder if it's bent or not. The rim is definitely bent. It's got a super bad wobble, and I was doing like half a mile an hour, and the wheel's wobbling extremely crazy. So I'm gonna get in here. I already got the wheel off. It's jacked up and everything. I'm just gonna go ahead and just show you guys what this looks like, because it's kind of weird. All right, so check this out. The rotor's gone. When I came and inspected the car for him, it was already just like in pieces, so we got rid of them then. But this is what's left of the rotor. You can see it's just this part. You see the caliper piston came out, so we've got to put that back in. Make sure we don't lose nothing. I don't know if anything fell out. What is this? Nothing. All right, but as you can see, everything is completely destroyed. And I don't know if you can tell, but that caliper is definitely pushed back. Like, it's not even in line with where the rotor would be sitting at. This whole thing is pushed back. So, like I said, we've got the replacement right here. It's got a good bearing in it. It's got a good ball joint in it. It's pretty clean. It actually has, like, you can see like original paint on it. So I'm just gonna give it a wipe down and get to putting that on, or getting to taking this one off and putting this one on, and waiting for the new brake parts to come so that we can put that on. So I'm gonna get this off. This is basically just like my Prelude. You take off the top ball joint, you take off the tie rod and the lower ball joint. This one's just got one lower ball joint, and it'll be off. So basically, I need to try and save as much as the hardware, because no hardware came with the spindle. Obviously, there's nothing on it, minus a ball joint and wheel bearing. So I need to take these, if I can reuse them. This one feels kind of twisted. I don't know about this one. And then these, I don't know if they're bent or not, so I have to try and save those. These are the like more important ones. This is just whatever. All right. So I'm gonna pull this apart and just bring you guys back when it's all apart. Just like I said, simple. Top ball joint, tie rod, ball joint, caliper. Peace. All right, so check this out real quick. I've got this all mostly cleaned up and lubed. That's all, markings or whatever from. That's nothing that I can take off. That's just there. You can't see. It's just there. All right. So this is all lubed up with brake fluid, and everything is all cleaned. But so everyone knows, if that piston ever comes out, you have to take this seal off to get it in. It'll never pass that seal. And this snap ring is in the seal on the front side here. Let's see if I can show you. Right under that lip, it sits on the front side right there. All right, it's not underneath it. Pull it out. That pops right out. Don't rip it. And then you can get to this. I don't have a replacement, but this was not leaking when it came apart. So I'm just, like I said, I cleaned everything up, lubed it, and I'm just going to put it all back together. Now I have to wipe it down and lube it back up. Damn it! Okay, well, once you get it past the seal, it just slides in and out. In and out. So I'm gonna throw the seal back on, show you guys how to put it on, wipe that down, just oil in here, wipe this down, put the seal in, put the snap ring in. Hopefully I can show you guys, because I've only got one hand. Wipe this down real quick. Most of the oil out. Let's see if I can get this seal in here. One hand. Let's see. I need my hands. Alright, so what I ended up doing first was putting the seal on the actual piston, and then I'm going to set it down and then tuck the seal in. Be very careful. Alright. Just be very careful. You don't want to rip it at all. Tuck the snap ring in. So I can get it in. There he goes. And then just tuck that boy in there. It should just clip in. It's not all the way down somewhere. Not sure what happened, but I've got it in. The snap ring is all the way in, and I guess I had to just push it in a little bit more on this side. This side wasn't clipping in, and that's what the issue was. But anyways, I've got it in. It works. I'm gonna put it all the way back down. Okay. Let's draw that down real quick. Break fluid off of there. Okay. Now I can. Holy crap. Look at the air on that spindle. Maybe you can see the bottom one. Look at that. Look how bent it is. It's just like. Look at the ball joint. It's just coming out. Holy shit. Wow. Took an impact, I tell you. So I'm going to throw this caliper to the side, since it doesn't seem like there's any brake fluid in it, in the brake line, and finish pulling all of this off. I just wanted to get this caliper all put back together. So I'm going to pull this all apart now. Alright, so the customer just came. He dropped off the brake rotor and the pads, and I actually showed him the tie rods. He's going to replace the tie rods, I think, most likely, because his son's car has been sitting for a while, and he really needs it to get back and forth to work, and it's been sitting, and he doesn't want to give it to him when it has with no problems. So he's probably gonna get that rim today. I wonder if I'm gonna still put the back one in the front so he can drive away, no problems. But that rim needs to get replaced. I think he's gonna swap that out. The inner and outer tie rods he's also gonna get today, and I'm just gonna continue what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna get back to it. That's done now. I can continue. What's going on, everybody? Today's a new day. I didn't get to finish that Civic because the lower control arm is actually where the ball joint sits at is super bent up. So the customer is actually gonna not get the inner and outer tie rod at the moment. They're gonna wait for like a week or 2 weeks for that, and they ordered the control arm, but it won't be here for 2 days. So that was yesterday, so it won't be here till tomorrow around 12, and then I can finish it all up. I can go ahead and show you guys how bent it is right now. But yeah, this is it right here. This is the reason why the car didn't get finished. Well, it's been like 2 days. This car has been sitting still here. I've got the new control arm. It's right here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in because the customer needs the car and we need to fix it. All right, I've got the control arm out. I'm just gonna compare them side by side so you guys can see how much is bent. Look at that. Look how much. Oh my gosh. It's just terrible. Oh, let's look at the spindle. Oh yeah. These ones are straight and those ones are all bent up. You see it? Oh my gosh. I just can't believe all this destruction. He hit that curve super hard. Well, I'm gonna reverse everything and go put everything back together, put it inside. Oh, real quick. Actually, to get that control arm out, you had to undo the sway bar itself and to bring it down low enough to get that bushing out of there. Because that bushing right there is too big to come out of any of the workings here. So 2 extra bolts, comes down. Oh well. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that back in. Well, the new arm is installed. Everything is nice and tight. I already saved you guys the hassle of showing you all of that. Maybe you wanted to see it, maybe you didn't. I don't have a head strap for a camera, so I can't really show you everything. I need my hands. But control arm is in, everything fits, everything is where it needs to be, everything lines up perfectly. And we're good to go to keep moving forward. Throw the spindle back in and see how everything else lines up. Let's go grab it. Alright, well, a lot of this stuff is really tacked on there. It's really thick, and I don't have any, cleaning solvent or anything. If I had freaking parts washer, if I had my parts washer, I'd be able to clean this up better. But oh well, throwing it on. Alright, here's something that I've come across, early on when I first started working on cars and stuff like that. That these ball joints or tie rods or any of the ball socket joints or whatever you want to call them, when they start spinning around, you can't tighten them, or you're ratcheting down and you can't tighten at all. So I'm gonna show y'all real quick how you can take care of that. Easy. So basically, what's going on is the ball joint itself is spinning when you try and tighten it. And like I said, this can easily be fixed. All you gotta do is pry down here, hold it, and pry, and then you'll see if you watch the actual ball joint, it's not moving. I'll put a good amount of pressure on it and it won't move. I keep turning the video off with my thumb on the volume button. You see how it stays still? It's going. Actually, I can probably turn it now. There was some resistance. There it is, man. As you can see, it's nice and it's staying there. Some of them are extremely bad, and you gotta really put a lot of pressure. This one I'm putting a decent amount of pressure, but it's not a crazy amount. I'm not putting so much. I'm holding the pry bar in my hand with my phone and putting pressure. I have to have a little bit more. Oh no, there it is, starting to bottom out. I think I just can't get it any tighter. I've got this little tiny pry bar on it. I can't find my big one. I don't know where the hell it's at. Let's see. Oh, look at that gap. There's a whole gap. Huh. That's obviously not all the way. What the hell was that about? I wonder what that was about. So anyways, that's the trick. I'm going to go ahead and actually put it on because I need both my hands. So I'll be back with you guys. After many attempts to tighten the top ball joint, which is finally tight, I ended up maxing out the jack on the suspension. So I jacked it up until the weight of the car was on the spindle. And then I pried on that. And it helped. There was a lot more pressure on it and it tightened. So spindle's all the way in, by the way. Bottom ball joint is in. Top ball joint is in. I've got to tighten the tie rod, which will take 2 seconds. Alright. That's out the way. Oh, let's turn the wheel. Okay. All right. I'm going to throw everything back on now since this is all in. Put it all back together. Well, everything is all back together. Calipers on, rotor. I was gonna say pads and rotors at the same time. Like I said, road to say rotors, but I spelled it ROAD in my head. Anyways, pads, rotors, calipers all on. Everything's nice and tight. I've got to bleed the caliper now. I'm gonna have to do the entire system probably. Empty. Empty. Fill it up. Crack the bleeders on this thing. Hopefully the master cylinder is not dry. I don't want to have to bleed that. Let's do it. Top it off here. I'm gonna overfill it because we're gonna be bleeding. So crack the bleeder loose, let the caliper fill up. This is another tip that you can do. Like if you're by yourself, I mean, this car's got to get bled, completely. But if you're by yourself and you just got to replace one caliper and you don't open the air lines, the brake lines, no. You can just crack the. Yo, it scared the shit out of me. Woo! My heart almost came out my chest. I ain't even using the air. Crap. Damn, compressor scared the crap out of me. Woo! You can just crack the bleeder loose. And what it'll do is, since the brake fluid now has somewhere to travel, it's gonna fill up the caliper and start dripping out of here. We'll get this. Drain pan real quick. I'll come back when it starts dripping so you guys can see. But basically, like I said, the idea is since the weight of the fluid is gonna push the air out of this caliper and the fluid's gonna fill up the caliper. It's gonna make it easier to bleed. Hopefully the master cylinder is not dry and the brake pedal's all spongy and stuff, because that will suck. It would extremely suck. As you can see, it's just flowing and pouring out on its own. And like I said, that gets most of the air out, but you still gotta just give it like 1 or 2 good pumps, like a regular brake bleed. But where'd my 10 go? Here we go with, oh, it's in my pocket, of course. At least it's in my pocket. Just close this boy up. See, it's still got little air bubbles just trying to move out. But most of the fluid's coming out, so when we go to bleed it, it's gonna be easy. You only have to do it like 2 or 3 times, not 10. Try and fill up the caliper and puff out all the air. I don't gotta do all that. Caliper's all full now. See what the brake pedal feel like. Nice. It's like almost no travel before it gets hard, which is good. Nice, nice. Everything's working out in my favor. Let's see. Nope. Caliper don't look like it's leaking. Don't seem like it's leaking at all. Don't feel like it. That's for sure. Close this up. So I'm gonna bleed that a couple times, but I gotta call my wife to help her bleed, or have her help me bleed this. So I'll be back. I have to use my phone. All right, well, the car is done. Wheels are on it. It's all the way down off the jack and jack stands. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and go test drive it in this beautiful weather. Looks so nice.
Hey, how is the snow dirty? Look.
Probably from the damn, you probably touched something. I'm about to open up the fence and pull this car out. We'll test drive it. Well, the car was a success. I got something in my nose. The car was a success. The spindle ended up being bent. The control arm ended up being bent. It needs tie rods, but that's to come. The rotor was exploded, but the customer needed the pieces. You guys didn't get to see that. There was a lot of crazy looking parts on this car, and it drives pretty good. It doesn't wobble. It pulls to the left a little bit, but look at how bent all that stuff was. So I'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.